tame creatures have been run out of there since, I believe, summer a year ago. The campus police were chasing out the homeless people who live there in somebody else's yard. And I didn't even know this. I've been told recently that it belongs to the university. Is that correct?
The property?
Whose property?
This property is currently owned by a bank.
Okay.
It had been foreclosed on.
Okay, well, that's, I was told, in fact, the university police ran the homeless people out of there last summer.
Are you talking about in the yellow hatched area?
The whole mountain, yes.
Okay.
But that open area up there is spectacular wildlife area. And of course, all the woods are, but it's really special. And some years ago, I took the state botanist for the Natural Heritage Commission up there, and he was just amazed. He asked me about a dry site. It wasn't wetland, which he does all kinds of, he does the documentation where the best native plants are in the state and unusual. And he found some up there in the dead of winter because he didn't identify them. I have photos of from past years, but this year they didn't get to making it there because they mowed it early for the building season. And again, I didn't know why. I thought it was part of this, the reason the campus police had said that some of those people may be growing marijuana up there, nasty homeless people, and they just need to get out of there. Well, so a bank does all it. I suspected that might be the case, but there have been signs on it. But anyway, part of that needs to be preserved. The woods, certainly, and the prairie too, and it would be nice if they set aside some places that don't. Well, on that kind of hillside, down below there, immediately toward the left or right-hand corner, you see the natural area marking on the World Peace Level Prairie, and in between that red trail, which I call the Pinnacle Prairie Trail, and World Peace Level Prairie, that land is set aside several years ago by Pinnacle Food Company, also growing it to make it an adjunct to World Peace Level Prairie. That was in 2005. So, in the part outside to the left has been mowed once this year. And we have an agreement with Pinnacle Police. The mayor gave them a warning for not mowing it any more than they did the last few years. And so part of the year, at least until July 20th this year, it was not mowed, and I have spectacular native plant photos from that. But as you can see, that's one piece of land that's cut apart by the railroad, and it would be wonderful if at least part of this is going to be developed this way. It would be a piece of nature park up there that has what soul's left there. This hilltops like this is road, so there is red dirt underneath, but it has a shallow layer of black dirt on top from which native plants grow. Down below there on Pinnacle and down at World Peace Level 3, it's deeper and deeper black dirt. And the roots of the native plants go very deep there. But up there, there's just about 6 species of milkweed on that walk up there in the clear areas. And in fact, I just used some Beatrice pictures on the short takes for Cat, not knowing about this. Beatrice pictures made up there, and they're spectacular. So, putting some money into another piece of parkland would be nice, but that place is an example of a dry, high plains prairie site with the best of the natural plants already there. conversation out there so much as just setting aside some protected areas in that cleared area. So, and I'm sorry I didn't know about it. You could prepare a statement or something. I sometimes come by the meeting after I do my short takes on Monday nights once a month. And I do them every week, but see what you guys have on your plate. I was sort of shocked to see that tonight. Haven't seen any developer signs. Haven't seen any. Haven't got a notification. I assume the neighborhood.
It hasn't gone through the planning
Didn't go
process.
through the right.
Right.
So those will be coming.
The way the process goes, Aubrey, it comes to the Parks Board first, and they look at it in looking at parkland, if parkland is needed or not. We have a criteria, that we utilize. And then it will go to planning, and then all the notifications will go out to the adjoining neighbors and all that stuff. And
Well, I hope you consider this concern because, we've now got a stream side ordinance, which doesn't help on that particular thing because it's a few hundred yards away from the actual stream that runs through. But it does send muddy water right now down to the 11th Street Bridge on the town bench. It's clearing that hillside where this corner comes down and does that little funny thing by the railroad. They cleared some of that a few years ago. I've got aerial photos online that show what it was just before they cleared the land over here. They did so, they cleared it in 2004 or 5. And, but, nothing should be built on that steep hillside. I mean, it slides. You've got a railroad there. If the erosion increases because of the taking timber off the hillside and building, concreting and so forth, it actually puts the railroad at risk. It's already been at risk from the hill place cleared the land up to the railroad. And they've had to do several attempts to try to stop the erosion. They get water in their apartments goes on a certain part of that. But anyway, this is a very delicate part of the city, and it's part of the continuing part of the Enduring Green Network. It's all on the plan for protecting wildlife habitat in the city. And it's certainly a special site that should be something people visit to enjoy, and it should not all be turned into apartment buildings, parking lots. So just be merciful if you can in looking at these. Thank you. I'd be happy to hear it.
If I may get your phone number afterwards, I'd like to discuss the project with you a little bit more.
I haven't seen this, so I'm not 100% sure. I have all the, it looks to me like you're obviously going to leave the steepest part natural. Maybe there would be room to, it sounds like it would be little or no maintenance. Might be something.
That's correct. I had been thinking I would have sent just a raw aerial photograph.
This was very, very.
There are a few trees. There's the area where the slight L-shaped building. That's the ridge line that's running kind of from the what will be the northeast corner, kind of lower right on that the orientation of the drawing, to the southwest through that kind of line of building. We're running right parallel to the transmission line. And that is the hilltop. And that is bare right now. We begin on the
That transmission line goes right along with the parking and stuff, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it showing the post?
Yes, those dark dots are the posts here come through. And we begin to get into the tree line just ever so slightly in this corner. So for the most part, this is all open. And there is a sort of little bench, or not a bench, but a little steeper portion of the slope that runs right through. Those trees, we haven't got to the point of doing full-blown tree survey yet, but a lot of those trees were damaged in the last bad ice storm that we had, and so it's sure when we get in, we'll have a better idea of their health condition. But as we come through here, there is a little bit of trees that we may be removing, and then this area down here is open, more so, and there's just kind of a little row of more scrubby trees. This right up against the railroad. This is a little bit heavier wooded. There's actually some canopy that falls below the transmission line right in this area here. But for the most part, the rest of the site is open and being preserved. The site requires a 30% because of the hillside tree canopy preservation. As the site is probably about 35% canopy right now, and we're going to end with the 30%.
If you could, find some of that milkweed that I believe you were talking about, that's one of the monarch's main sources of food for the area. We like our butterflies. So if you could keep an eye on that area and try and preserve as much of that as you can. That would be very nice.
How is this kind of development reviewed within the Parks Department? I don't suppose it is. Who does look at this for potential protected species and so forth? And is that part of your checklist, Allison, or kind of when you're going through deciding whether something should be parked or not, or does it not enter into the parks?
It doesn't enter as much, and we always look at existing natural features and what is meeting the needs as set out by the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So our criteria is more heavily weighted on that, on the master plan and what it calls for. We don't have anyone in particular in the city that overlooks wildlife and flora and fauna.
One of the things that we've used on other projects for most often is when we're working with the Corps of Engineers in the wetland area, but the same would apply with situations like this as well, is to take the topsoil and basically harvest the topsoil and then reuse the native topsoil on that site in the landscaped areas or the areas that we may not, on this particular project, we haven't gotten to those level of discussions, but the owner has mentioned going more for a natural scape as opposed to a manicured landscape, and we could reuse the native topsoils on the site, and then those native seed beds of these particular species of plants and things will then just naturally germinate and grow in those landscape beds. And that's while that may not be as good as preservation, obviously, it at least allows those species to perpetuate.
I'm sorry, who is the land, I guess, west of it?
To the west is, well, I believe the city owns the property basically from here. I think it's at this
10
corner.
acres. 10 acres that we own.
Okay.
Is it more than 10 acres? I think it's just right at 10. That is actually the land, when we talk about the Lewis soccer field, when we did that contract with the University of Arkansas, they let us release the fields at Lewis, and the city let them allow the University of Arkansas to lease that 10-acre property. Okay, and it was also providing fire services to Anchor Park was also included in that contract, which goes until 2018.
This property is owned here by Shepherd. And then I'm not sure if they own around this side or not. I can't recall.
Hill Park, it looks like you're really not going to disturb that anyway, so you might be able to incorporate some kind of protection along with that. This is really a separate issue, isn't it, then from accepting the money or not? That's a separate decision. It wouldn't be attached at all.
Can you tell me again the amenities we have within the half-mile radius?
We have the No Place Parkland. Oops, this one's better. And the World Peace Wetland Prairie, which are here, and also the Solid Trail. They're all within the half mile.
And it doesn't, it may not count, but Fayetteville High School also is in that circle. I don't know if you still go, I used to go to the track and stuff and run all the time. I think you still can. I don't know about the university. I think you can still just run.
Well, you see red is paid. Not yet. Hopefully get there soon. Brian's asking about how much the trail's paved, just the red part area. It'll extend to the east with some future trail projects, and then also back west.
So eventually we'll be connected to that parkland, via trail.
Yes, to that parkland and over to Walker Park as well. And just Briscoe Trail, Schofield Trail, all of that. You know, right. So we have the trail up there we have.
Yes.
Yeah, for the Frisco Trail extension side. That's in design with funding for it and everything. So it's definitely moving forward.
Connie, is there any ideas on that? You said that property, that 10 acres that we leased to the university, is there any plans? I assume that when Lewis lease goes up, that this is going to revert back to the city as well?
Yes.
Is there any plans for that property?
Not that I know of at this point. I've not heard of any. I know there's, at one time, there were some developments that were interested in purchasing that piece of property, but it never did come to pass.
No
It's pretty
thoughts
heavily
about, no thought about making it a park or anything along those lines, or don't know?
We've never discussed that, so it could be. It is pretty prime real estate for the city, so I don't know for what purposes they purchased that piece of property. If it was for water and sewer, it will be in an enterprise fund in which, water and sewer is pretty much in control of it. I don't know for what purposes they did purchase that property.
So from a park standpoint, the land that's being left untouched because of the overlay district and the tree preservation issues, there's really not a whole lot of that land that would be usable for us, so money in lieu would be the right thing to do on this. From a parks perspective, there's a lot of other things that have to transpire.
You know, there are a lot of beautiful natural areas in our city, and boy, if we choose ever one of them, there's no way we could ever maintain and nor, really utilize them to their fullest. So it's tough. There's some gorgeous sites that go to development that I don't know how we can protect those. But I don't think parks is probably an avenue on this one, particularly when we have such a huge, nice, beautiful natural area that we are already preserving there, which I'm really proud of. So
I think given the criteria that we have to go by, that money in lieu is probably the right thing to do here. I think that the area is adequately served right now, so that's the way I'm inclined to make the motion.
And I'm always thankful when the developers come in and they've got a swimming pool, they're providing some recreation there too for their people. So we always
The soft trails.
The soft trails, yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept money in lieu for the development.
Got a motion and a second to accept money in lieu. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you very much.